In a war, no one wins. Stop clamoring for one. Peace is priceless. Terror is senseless. The Ethiopian Civil War was a civil war in Ethiopia and present-day Eritrea, fought between the Ethiopian military junta known as the DEG and Ethiopian Eritrean anti-government rebels from 12 September 1974 to 28 May 1991. In this war, at least 1.4 million people died, with 1 million related to famine and the remainder from violence and conflict, which is 1/3 of the population. Does this make sense? Certainly does not make sense. The highest death toll was registered by the Red Terror in Ethiopia, which left over 10,000 deaths. According to Amnesty International, the death toll could be higher than 500,000. The Red Terror was a political repression launched by the DEG in 1976 to suppress internal oppositions from rival parties involving brutal execution, mass arbitrary detention, forced disappearances, and sexual assaults. Thousands of men and women were surrendered and executed over the following 2 years. Does this still make sense? No, it doesn't make sense. Save the Children Fund estimated victims of Red Terror to be 1,000 or more children, mostly aged between 11 and 13, whose corpses were left in the streets of Addis Ababa. There was also reports of such arson and systematic rape of women by soldiers. According to a witness imprisoned during this war, guards attached newspapers to fellow prisoners' back and set them on fire. There were also flagellations and gunshots from executions, which were conducted outside makeshift cells. In the 1978 Save the Children report, many children under 13 were killed. By 1976, massacre against EPRP members became increased. In one instance, the May Day incident, which took place on 29 April 1977, was a key violence against civilians, with at least 1,000 people killed in a few days in Addis Ababa. Both Amnesty and Reuters estimated the total death rate of terror to be 150,000 people. On March 15, 1978, more than 10,000 individual deaths, including 6,133 Ethiopian government soldiers, 400 Cuban soldiers, 100 South Yemeni soldiers, and 33 Soviet military advisors were killed. Some 500,000 individuals were also displaced. During the 1983-1985 famine in Ethiopia, United Nations estimated the number of deaths by hunger about 1 million, affecting 7.75 million people, and left approximately 300,000 to 1.2 million deaths. 2.5 million people were internally displaced, whereas 400,000 refugees left Ethiopia and 200,000 children were orphaned. Anti-government insurgency and the government response features the use of indiscriminate violence against civilians by the Ethiopian Army and Air Force. 50,000 people killed, excluding those killed by famine and resettlement. Close to 8 million people became famine victims during the drought in 1984, and over 1 million people dead. There were estimated that 400,000 to 500,000 people died during the famine. At the end, who won the war? Nobody. Those who are clamoring for war should know that in a war, no one wins. Kindly share this video as your contribution towards peace building in Africa and the world at large. Thank you, and make sure you are reading. God bless Africa.